morning and welcome to the allotment. I never do this at the beginning of the video, introduce myself. I tend to just get straight into it, and I notice some of the other YouTubers always give a little introduction for those people that have not watched the channel before. So I'm Mal, known as a veg plot man, and I'm down on an allotment, or I say an allotment. I've got two allotments that run through, one from behind where the camera is filming, right the way down to the bottom there. So that's who I am. Let's get on with what I'm doing today. So first thing I'm going to do today is get some of this compost, which is quite fibrous, sieved off, so that I can take that home and use that for getting my chilies and my sweet peppers going on the Super 7 propagator. I'm going to go through my seeds and see which ones I'm going to go with this year, and I'll keep you informed of that a bit later on. What I'll do is I'll get this done and I'll just take you down the plot and just show you those little bits of jobs that I needed to get ticked off the list. I feel quite pleased with myself actually. I've done quite a bit of work over these last couple of days, even though the weather's not been too warm. So I'll crack on doing this and then I'll take you down the bottom. It's a little bit windy, but I won't keep you out there too long, okay? So the first thing I did was tackle my net tunnel that was destroyed in one of the many named storms. I can't remember which one it was now, but rather than scrapping it all, I've taken the legs off and the base off. I'm going to keep that structure and I'm going to put some timbers around the bottom edges of it, and strengthen it all back, get it tightened up, and as well get some supports going across the centre. And I'm going to use that. It's really light. I'll be able to just lift that up and do what I need to do. It might be a little bit low round the sides, but at the end of the day I'm going to really be considered with the brassicas that I'm going to grow this year, because I'd end up giving quite a few of them away. So like they say, you need to just plant what you grow what you eat. This is the bed where it was, so I've mulched that with a new load of leaf mould, and I've just got the first bit of manure on there, so I'm pleased with that. So this plot ain't looking too bad. Those two beds at the bottom that I always talk about, I've got to get them done yet. Right, I'll take you down and just show you how we got on with those paths. I'd almost completed them, but I'll take you down and show you that. Here we are then, down on the back plot. Got some nice, well, they're not doing so well, those cauliflowers, they've blown, but there was nice little tight Savoy cabbages in that one. So I'm going to take a couple of those on for dinner. Right, onto the paths. As you can see, I've prepped these beds here. They're going to get lifted up at the bottom, and they're going to have some bricks underneath them, so the actual planter's not sat in this flooded side, because that's what happens on this side of the plot. As you can see, I've completed this path now, and it runs right the way through. I've got to obviously put my wood chip down. It runs right the way through here. I've got all my irises in there. I was going to put the irises all under this area here. Obviously this tree's coming down, but the problem I had is there is quite some sort of structure underneath that, some sort of foundation. So rather than do that, I've put them in this bed here, and we'll just walk down this path here, and this comes out now to the end of the woodshed. Then we turn, and I've put the other irises in there. So as you come in from the bottom of the path, you'll be greeted with those irises, and then as I did before, we've got this path going up there, so it just makes these beds more manageable. You know, they're easy to get tidied, weeded, planted out. Again, I had a second load of leaf mould delivered, so all these beds now have been mulched and they've all got some well rotted manure on. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's coming. As you can see here, I've got an avenue of dwarf fruit trees here, and I've got a couple just there, and over here I'm going to put, replacing the big trees, the two big trees that are coming down, these dwarf trees. So it'll be quite nice when they're all in blossom. These two raised beds here are going to get moved, and I'm going to put them at the opposite side of these, on the wet side as I call it. I've got another two, so there'll be three running across there in between the two dwarf fruit trees. They're going to be lifted up on bricks, so at least I can garden that side, you know, because they're going to be quite high up. All the beds again have been mulched. Spring onions there. I got out the old rainbow chard from there. I've cleaned that bed out. There's still a few leaks in here, and my tomato bed's been sorted as well. And I did get round to cleaning out the greenhouse and getting those iris in. I'm just showing you through a broken pane of glass, and I've managed to get the bench in situ, so that's great. Even managed to get the sun shelter tidied out, and I got in here and I got this tidied. You can see the grandkids have been on my whiteboard, so that all needs cleaning yet. And then I've still got to take down the potting bench here, because obviously I've got the potting shed further down, so there's no use for that in here. So back out of the wind into the greenhouse. So I've got my compost sieved nice and fine there. Some of the chilies that I'm going to grow, I got this pack, my daughter Kirsty bought me this. Kirsty, that's the one who's still got my fork, so hopefully if she's watching I might get it for this season. Anyway, yeah, so she bought me this. I'm going to use two of these. I'm going to use the Anaheim, I believe that's a foot long pepper, and I believe it's quite mild. And I'm also going to use the jalapeno, Mexican jalapeno. So they're two out of there that I'm going to use, but I'm not going to put those in down here because, as I say, I put everything on the Super 7. So what I'm going to do is put all that back in the pack, and I've got a few jobs to do down here. I'll see you in a couple of hours up at home on the kitchen table. Okay? So I'm back home from the plot. Absolutely freezing down there. So I've been in the bath, warmed myself through, and I'm going to crack on and get these sown. The other sweet peppers that I'm going to do are going to be, again, Frigitello that I did last year, and also Colour Spectrum, because they were really nice. And I've not got those seeds to hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sow these chilies. I'm not going to put the heat on the Super 7. Tomorrow I'm going to nip to the garden centre, get the seeds and put it all on in one go. So I'm going to do that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to let you know what plans I've got for the channel. This year I've got quite a lot to do in the garden, and to be fair, I do neglect the garden a little bit, you know, in favour of the allotment. So this year I've got quite a lot planned. We had a next door neighbour that didn't look after a beautiful hedge that we had. He never bothered with it at his side, and basically it forced the fence down between us, so we had to take it out, and I put up a fence between us, and the amount of birds that we used to get in the garden when we had the hedge was unbelievable. But since then my daughter has moved next door, literally just there. The grandkids scoot through the back of the fence and into the door here, so we never get a minute's peace. And what I'm going to do is we're going to, between us, get that hedge back installed. It's going to take a couple of years to establish, but it's something that we're really, really keen to do. And I've other jobs to do as well in the garden. So what I'm going to do this year with the channel is there's going to be a little bit of a lot of the allotment, but interspersed with a little bit of the garden, and then I don't get told off by the wife for neglecting it. So I'm going to bring you along on that journey. In the meantime, I'm going to get these sown, and then I want to get off because Leeds United are kicking off in about 5 minutes. They're playing Preston North End. Hopefully get another 3 points. So listen guys, have a great week. Batten down the hatches, stay warm, and I'll see you next week. Until then, take care and have happy growing if you're doing it. Bye bye.